From silence to speech. Dear students, today I want to share a journey with you. Many of you may be starting or about to start this journey, moving from silence to speech in English. Learning a language is not just about memorizing words and grammar. It's about finding your voice, being able to express yourself, and connecting with others. Let me tell you about a student I had a few years ago. His name was Tom. When Tom first joined my class, he was very shy. Some of you may feel the same way. Tom was scared to speak in English. On the first day, I asked everyone to introduce themselves. Tom's face turned red. He whispered his name so softly that I could barely hear him. But that was okay because every journey starts somewhere. For Tom, that was his starting point. In the next classes, I noticed that Tom always sat in the back. He tried to avoid attention. When I asked questions, he would look down, hoping I wouldn't call on him. One day, I paired up students for a simple conversation activity. I put Tom with a girl named Lily. Lily was very friendly. At first, Tom didn't want to speak, but Lily was patient. She started by asking him where he was from. Tom said, China. Lily didn't stop there. She asked him about his hobbies. Slowly, Tom started saying more. He told her he liked reading. That small conversation was a big step for Tom. It was the first crack in the silence that he had built around himself. Like Tom, some of you may find it hard to speak. Some of you may worry that others will laugh at your mistakes. But let me tell you, mistakes are part of learning. Another student, Sarah, was scared of making mistakes. She wouldn't try to form a complete sentence. One day, I asked Sarah to describe a picture. She was shaking and said, I can't. I smiled and said, It's okay, Sarah. Just tell me what you see, one word at a time. She looked at the picture and said, Tree. I encouraged her to say more. She added, Green tree. Step by step, with my help and her courage, Sarah was able to describe the whole picture. And guess what? The more she tried, the fewer mistakes she made. She was learning from each attempt. Now, let's talk about how to practice speaking outside the classroom. One good way is to listen to English as much as you can. For example, listen to English songs. A student named Alex loved music. He started listening to English songs every day. At first, he just enjoyed the melody. But soon, he realized he could learn a lot from the lyrics. He would look up words he didn't know and sing along. His pronunciation improved. He also started using some of the phrases in his daily conversations. Another student, Emily, loved watching English movies. At first, she used subtitles, but later, she turned them off. She learned new expressions, accents, and how native speakers communicate. When she came to class, she shared cool phrases like, What's the deal? And You've got to be kidding me. Going to places where English is spoken can also help you feel more confident. I remember Ben, a student who was too shy to speak English in public. But one day, he went to a coffee shop with many foreigners. He ordered his coffee in English. The barista asked, How's your day? Ben was nervous, but he answered, It's good, thank you. That small interaction made him feel great. After that, he went back to that coffee shop more often and started having more conversations. He even made friends from other countries. Back in class, group activities are very helpful. I often divide the class into small groups and give them a topic to talk about. One time, I asked a group to talk about their dream vacations. Everyone had to say something. Mike, who was usually quiet, joined the conversation when he saw his classmates excitedly sharing their ideas. He said, I want to go to the beach. I like swimming. His groupmates asked him more questions. By the end of the activity, Mike was speaking more confidently than ever before. Reading aloud is another good method. A student named Lisa was very shy. But when we started reading aloud in class, she found it helped her get used to the sound of English. At first, she read very slowly and made mistakes. But with my help and her own practice, she got better. The more she read aloud, the more confident she felt speaking. You see, the journey from silence to speech is not easy, but it is possible. It takes time, patience, and lots of practice. Think of it like building a house. You need to put down one brick at a time. Every small step you take, like learning a new word, having a short conversation, or listening to an English song, is like adding a brick to your language skills. Let's talk about grammar for a moment. Some of you may be afraid of grammar because it seems complicated. But grammar is like the framework of a house. It gives structure to your language. For example, when we learn verb tenses, I had a student named Jack who was confused by the past simple and present perfect tenses. He would say things like, "I go to the park yesterday." I explained the difference with simple examples. If it happened at a specific time in the past, like yesterday, use the past simple. So, it should be, "I went to the park yesterday." If the action started in the past and connects to the present, use the present perfect. For example, "I have been to that park many times." Jack practiced more, and soon he understood the tenses and used them correctly. Vocabulary is also important. You don't need to learn thousands of words at once. Start small. I tell my students to learn 5 to 10 new words each day. One way to remember them is to use them in sentences. For example, if you learn the word delicious, make a sentence like, "The pizza is delicious." Olivia, another student, used to forget words easily. I suggested she use flashcards. She wrote the word on one side and its meaning and a sentence on the other. She reviewed them every day. This really helped her remember more words. Let's go back to speaking. Body language is also important. I noticed that Henry, a student, had good English skills, but when he spoke, he looked down and his voice was low. It made him seem less confident. I spoke to him and suggested he make eye contact, stand straight, and speak louder. After he made these changes, he seemed more confident, and people paid more attention to what he said. And don't forget about writing. Writing can help you organize your thoughts and practice grammar and vocabulary. I ask my students to write short diaries in English. For example, Ava wrote, "Today I had many classes. I learned new words in English class. I also talked to my friend at lunch. It was a good day." This simple exercise helped her practice English and think about her day. Another important thing is feedback. You need to know how you're doing. I always encourage my students to ask their classmates or me for feedback. For example, after a speaking activity, I ask students to pair up and give suggestions. One might say, "You spoke too fast. Maybe slow down next time so I can understand you better." This kind of feedback helps everyone improve. The road to fluency is long, but every step counts. You may have setbacks, like forgetting words or feeling nervous when speaking in front of others. But that's all part of the process. Remember Tom? After his first conversation with Lily, he began to open up more. He started answering questions in class and even joined the school's English speaking club. He still made mistakes, but he didn't let them stop him. Learning English can also open doors to new cultures. Max, another student, got really interested in British culture after learning English. He read British books, watched British TV shows, and learned about British traditions. This not only made him smarter, but also gave him more things to talk about in English. In conclusion, students, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Learning a language is like learning to walk. You may fall, but you get up and try again. Before you know it, you will go from silence to speech, and you will be able to express yourself in English. Keep practicing, keep learning, and I believe you will reach your goals. That's all for today. See you in the next class.